Hey everybody, today I'm going to be walking you through my power setup and some changes that we've made and ones that we are making right now. Alright everybody, so first off we're going to be talking about what we used to have and what we currently have, and then what we're switching over to. So we originally started out with 4 AGM batteries, which AGM I believe stands for like agglomerated glass matrix, which is a type of lead acid, somewhere between a lead acid and lithium. We started out with those because we couldn't afford a lithium battery. They are pricey, but they're worth the price, but they're still pricey nonetheless. So we started out with 4 of those. Then we eventually actually got to the point where we sold all 4 of those, and we purchased this one right here. Let me get another light on here. Okay, so we got this. The black one here was the first one that we bought, and that is the ampere time 12 volt 300 amp hour battery. We bought that one, and it replaced all 4 of those AGM batteries and then some. And that one lasted us quite a long time, but you know, we needed more battery storage, so we ended up buying a second battery, and this is from Chins. And Chins and Ampere Time are, well, I guess Lie Time now, the same company, just that they're like sister companies. Same voltage and amperage and all that stuff. And then recently, these two on the left here were on sale, and you can kind of see the form factor is a little bit different on these. These are a little bit smaller than this one. This one's actually pretty big, which is even bigger than the first one we got. But they were on sale here back in October, I believe, and we bought both of those at the same time. So we basically have quadrupled our power storage from our beginning. At current, we have 2 main outputs. This is for our main heavy loads. This one can support up to 3,500 watts, or 3,000 watts rather. And it is Krieger. It's pretty good. The issue I have with that is that it's a modified sine wave. So it's not the cleanest of energy, but it's not bad. It's also not the most efficient. I think we were only getting like 95% efficiency instead of like the 99% that you get with more modern ones. And then the one here on the wall, as you guys can see, is actually charging at the moment. We have it connected to the generator outside before I dismantle everything. And this one came from a solar company that I found online. It's the MPP Solar. I don't believe they actually make this particular one anymore, but this was a 12 volt inverter, charge controller, and charger all in one. And I believe this thing was about $700 when we bought it, maybe a little bit more plus shipping. And it does well, but the main drawbacks is everything you guys see here is all 12 volt. Sorry, everything you see here is all 12 volt, and the issue with that is just it takes forever to charge. We just can't push enough amps into it with our current generators and all that stuff safely, and so it takes quite a long time to charge, and that is what I'll talk about next. Alright everybody, so as I mentioned earlier on, one of the main issue that we're having is just how long it takes to charge our batteries. So I thought I'd go over some notes here with you guys. So currently, right, with our 4 batteries here, we each battery is at 12.8 volts nominal, right, and about 300 amps or amp hours, okay, per battery, which gives us 3,840 watts per battery, and we times that by 4, so that gives us 15,360 watts of power. Okay, so about 15 kilowatts. Now, currently, right, as it being a 12 volt system, we charge everything at 14.3 volts and at about 30 amps. Okay, now which creates about 429 watts an hour. Okay, so at current, to make that 15 kilowatt range, it takes us about 35 hours of running our generator. Now that little generator outside will run, I think it's got like a three gallon tank, and it will run at half of its capacity for about 19 hours. So we'd have to fill that thing twice, more or less, to completely charge our batteries, and that's just charging batteries. We can run other things inside the house off of the generator as well, but we lose a little bit of efficiency and it takes a little bit more gas. So more or less it takes about 5 gallons of gas in that little generator to charge up our battery system. Okay, and at the moment that's about it's 20 some odd dollars, like almost 30 bucks. So it's not the greatest. Okay, let's just call it 20 bucks. Okay, just to charge up the batteries every single time. Now, and that's 100% efficiency, which we're not going to be able to get. So honestly, it's going to take a little bit longer, a little bit more gas. Yeah, this is just more of a ballpark kind of figure. Now what we're doing right now is we're actually going to be tearing all this down and upgrading it to a new 48 volt system. So I figured I might go ahead and crunch some numbers with you guys there too, if you're interested. We will be charging at 56.8 volts, and we're going to be trying to pushing 40 amps through there. And so that means that every hour we're going to be making 2,272 watts. And to get the 15 kilowatts, it would take us about 6 hours. So we went from 35 hours, 36 hours to about 6, give or take a little bit. Now, so obviously that gas is going to stretch a lot farther, and that's with the most fuel efficient generator we have. We do have a larger generator, and that thing has an ungodly appetite for gas, but it can pump out a lot of power. And that cuts it down to about, I think it was still about 30 hours. So it's not a huge difference time wise, but it does take a lot more gas. So yeah, so our next step is we're going to start tearing down some of these shelves, removing things. I think I'm going to be doing a time lapse on that, and then maybe some more close-ups of the batteries and stuff, and we'll put in a new system. All right, everybody, I think I knocked out I had to unplug something and turn off the lights. So you guys will probably only see part of that time lapse. But so now that we've got it all off the wall, as you guys can see here, we've removed everything, disconnected everything, and then we're going to be replacing it with this guy here. So this is a Renogy 48 volt solar inverter charger. So it has a 3,500 watt output with a 7,500 watt what is that called, burst or whatnot. So so it's going to be basically providing everything for us now instead of the 2 different ones. I'm probably going to keep the other ones on hand for other projects, or maybe we'll end up selling them or something. Nothing goes to waste here. So I'm gonna put this guy up on the wall, start wiring it all in, and see you guys then. All right, everybody, so we have finished our installation, and we got it up on the wall. It took a little bit longer than I thought it would, namely because the Renogy has much smaller connectors and stuff than I was expecting. That MPP solar one had much larger, beefier connections, mostly probably due to the fact that it was 12 volt instead of 48 volt. But it is up and running, and it is connected and everything. I got to rerun some wires. So to do this, what we ended up doing is we started running the batteries into series instead of parallel. So this is the negative terminal here. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. That goes up to the inverter. This positive goes to that negative. That positive goes to that negative. And that positive goes up to this negative. And this positive here goes into the inverter. All right, everybody, so we're back. My battery died on our GoPro here, so I had to wait for it to charge. But so we got everything installed now. Everything's running, but we are having some issues. Namely, so we got all 4 of our batteries here in series, which works just fine. It saved us a bit on wiring and everything else, but our main issues is actually with the inverter here. Now, the Renogy inverter, if you look online, it actually has some significant down points to it, I guess. And I think for the price, it should be put together better. Now, the main issues I have with it is that the connection points on the inside are either way too small or too close together. Namely, the points here, it might be harder over on this side to see. It might be harder to see, but over on this side, that's where you put your AC in and your AC out. And then in the middle, you guys can see those two. Oops, kind of hard to see. But these 2 wires here, the 2 black ones right in the middle, they are like a hair's breadth apart, to the point where I thought it was actually uncomfortable how close they were. And I ended up electrical taping in between them just to keep anything from happening. On top of that, for solar as well, is all the way over on the closer side here. It's supposed to be rated for very high amperage, and those contacts, they're not going to support that. So I had to lower in some of the settings on the inside. Now, the major issue we've been having is that I wanted to go up to 48 volts so that I could charge the batteries faster and more efficiently. And we've been sitting around anywhere from 500 to 700 watts an hour of a charge, and we should be much closer and over 2,000. The reason being, and I've been on the phone with Renogy, I've been on some live chats with them, and the most straightforward answer I've gotten so far is that their inverter thinks that the batteries are too full and it doesn't want to hurt them. I don't know of a way that I can fix this, but I can. And the guy on the last chat I had, the one that was the most straightforward, was saying that as the batteries get lower, the inverter will allow more power in to charge them up faster. And I can say that I believe that is the case, at least with mine. It does seem to be that if the batteries are low enough, it will just kick up and allow more power in, and it gets back to that point where the batteries are about anywhere from 70 to 90% full, and then it'll just kind of sit at like 500 watts an hour, which is around about where we were on the high end before. So we're still better off, but at the price tag of like $600, is it worth it? I don't know. I do like that we seem to be much more efficient running appliances and stuff in here than we were before, off of a 48 volt system. I would like to see more with the Renogy, and so I guess that would be my review of the thing. It's not bad. If you can get it for cheap enough, then go for it, but I would say honestly you might want to look at another one. It just seems to have issues. I might in fact actually look at another 48 volt one and replace this one if I can, but again, there's no budget like no budget, so we have that's our motto: low budget, no budget, right? And so if you guys are trying to do this stuff on a low budget, I would look for other ones. I think there's Grow Watt and some other brands that are supposedly supposed to be pretty good, and maybe in the future I'll do a review on those, but for now it's working, everything's running, just not as well as I would like. So I think we're gonna end the video here, but thank you guys very much for watching. We got some other stuff coming up, and Yeah, so thanks again for watching. Make sure you subscribe and like and all that good jazz, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.